Oh, difficult conversations. This used to be a dreaded part of my day, my week. I mean, honestly, who am I kidding? It was a dreaded part of my entire role. Can you relate to that? Well, hey there, welcome to Mac TV. My name is Mac, and this is a space for first-time people managers who are looking to up-level their confidence as well as their skills so that they can lead their teams effectively. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about having difficult conversations with employees, which is just a huge part of people management. I mean, even if you have a rock star team, difficult conversations are going to be inevitable, whether that's you having a conversation with your team members about behavioral issues, about attitude issues, performance issues, change management issues, or even if it's like something really small, but because maybe you're the type of person who is a people pleaser, or you have a desire to be liked, or you're, concerned about how others view you, then even if it's a small issue, it could feel like it's bigger to you in your head. And so engaging in that conversation, no matter how small, will be difficult for you. Okay, so let's get started on this, shall we? I actually created a little cute board to map out everything that you're going to have to do, but I don't think I can get the whole thing in the frame, so we'll see how it goes. All right, so where do you start? Where do you start if you have to have a difficult conversation with a team member? Well, your first step, as you can see on here, is to prepare. You have to prepare yourself in thought, in word, and emotionally as well before you even go into this conversation. In fact, if you want to go into this conversation and come out of it as successfully as possible, you have to start here. You absolutely need to prepare. So when I say that you have to prepare in thought, word, and emotionally, what do I mean? Like, what is it that I mean? Well, first of all, you have to clearly understand what the problem is and what the issue is. Because if you go into that conversation at all hazy on the facts or why you're even approaching this person, then I guarantee you it will come out jumbled, which will make you nervous, which will mean that you will not have the desired effect that you are looking for. So this is why it's really important to prepare ahead of time and get like really crystal clear on the facts so that you can articulate exactly what the issue is. And this is why actually in NMA, I give my students a difficult conversation worksheet to work through exactly what their thoughts are beforehand so that they can get everything super clear in their mind before they actually go in the conversation. Okay, so once you've jotted all this down, the second thing you want to do within this prepare step is to choose your words wisely. It is really important that you are choosing words that do not trigger the defenses. I cannot for the life of me remember where I heard this. Like, I think it was like on a podcast, but I unfortunately can't remember which podcast it was, but I do remember the person like saying that it's really important when you're having these difficult conversations not to stab, but to do surgery. Yeah, that was the term. Do surgery, don't stab. And I love that because it so perfectly reflects exactly what you're trying to do. You're trying to fix a problem. You're not trying to injure that person even more. And so you want to make sure that you're staying away from accusatory words. Make sure that you are very clear that you don't have a problem with this person that you're talking to, that your problem is with the issue, that your problem is with the behavior or with the performance, and that you would like to change that, right? This has nothing to do with that person. So make sure that you are using words and phrases that support that narrative of you wanting to see a change in whatever that specific issue is and not necessarily with that person. So the final part of that first step of preparation is to prepare yourself emotionally. Now, the good thing is if you know your team members, like if you know their personality styles, then you can really anticipate what their reaction is going to be based on their personality style. So for example, if you have a highly sensitive person maybe on your team, then you already know going into that conversation what the reaction might be a little bit sensitive, in which case you know that it's not personal against you, it's just their personality playing itself out. Now, something that has helped me tremendously is just remembering, at all times, but particularly during a conversation like this, that everybody is fighting their own battles. Each and every team member on your team is fighting their own battles. And so remembering that fact really makes a world of a difference. Now, yes, I know that this is work and work needs to get done, but at the same time, these are humans doing work. And so if they're bringing their human self to work, that means that they're bringing with them their traumas and baggage to work with them. And it's going to manifest itself in a variety of different ways. And so in this conversation, you might trigger something that, you know, they're just personally dealing with, which you might not know about, but it's important for you to know that it's not necessarily personal. It's just their own stuff that maybe they might be working through. Now, if you go into this conversation with the best intentions, you prepare and you do your best to help them improve, then you can sleep well knowing that you're doing surgery as opposed to stabbing. But just know that, like, if you don't prepare and you don't do what you're supposed to ahead of time, then you are stabbing, in which case you are triggering their fight or flight response. And yeah, any reaction that you get from that is just a result of you not doing the work up front. All right, so now you've prepared yourself in thought, in word, and in emotion, and you're now officially in the conversation. What do you do? Well, the second step in our process is that you want to state the issue. You want to get there immediately. Tell them exactly why you brought them in. Now, I put this in as the second step because I noticed that this is a big mistake that a lot of first-time managers make, right? Because of the fact that they're nervous and they're anxious about what the reaction is going to be and if they're going to say the right words or whatever the case might be, they spend a lot of time talking about random things before they actually say why they brought the person in. So tell them right away why you brought them in. Hey, I brought you in today because I wanted to talk to you about a few things that I noticed in the last project you led. Or, hey, I wanted to talk to you today about your punctuality over the last couple weeks. Or, hey, I brought you in because I wanted to talk about your reaction in the last team meeting. It is far kinder for you to just tell them exactly why you want to talk to them than for you to be talking about everything else other than why you brought them in to talk to them, okay? So the second step is to just get there quickly, state the issue. Okay, so the third step when it comes to having a difficult conversation with an employee is actually to be clear. It is very, very important for you to be clear about what the specific issue is. You know, one of my favorite things that Brene Brown says is that to be clear is to be unkind. And she's absolutely right. I mean, nothing is more frustrating than being the team member on the receiving end of the feedback and sitting there and wondering, what is the issue here? What exactly does my manager have an issue with? Your team members should not have to figure out what your issue is. You should have worked that out ahead of time so that you could be very specific with them in terms of what the issue is. Otherwise, if you're not specific, then they might think something different than what you are talking about, and then you don't have the impact that you want. So if you want to actually have an impactful, difficult conversation, it's very important that you are clear. So for example, if punctuality is an issue, you don't want to just generally say that punctuality is an issue. You want to be as specific as possible. So for example, hey, you know, I noticed that for the past 3 days, you've been 20 minutes late. And here's the problem with that. When you're 20 minutes late, it pushes back Susie on her shift and she's not able to make it to her mentoring session with other team members. Notice how I didn't say you've been late for the past couple days. I specifically said you've been 20 minutes late for the past 3 days. And then I went a step further into saying what the impact was, which is that now your team member is not able to help other team members. You know, it's really important that you remind yourself that your team member isn't coming in to piss you off intentionally. Like, you might feel pissed off because of what they're doing, but they're not like intentionally waking up in the morning thinking to themselves, oh, how can I piss off Makita today? That's not like what they're thinking. A lot of people are just not thinking about the first and second order consequences to their actions, especially if they're individual contributors, because as an individual contributor, you're just thinking about your small world. You're seeing the world through a very tiny lens, but as a manager, you're seeing it through a much bigger lens, right? You're seeing how everything affects everything, whereas they're only seeing a small piece of the puzzle. And so it's your job as a manager to be as clear as possible with them and help them to see how their actions affect other people and how it impacts the vision and where the department is going. Okay, so the next step is for you actually to be curious. It's really important for you to ask questions, to ask clarifying questions, to ask deep dive questions, so you can get like a thorough understanding of what is going on. And being curious has a number of benefits. For one, when you ask questions and you're curious, it opens up the door for conversation, right? Oftentimes in conversations like this, in difficult conversations, employees can feel attacked because you're the only one talking. But if you're asking them questions, then it becomes a conversation, and so you guys are engaged in a dialogue rather than you talking at them. The other thing it does is it helps you to just understand maybe why something might be happening. Maybe what you thought is the reason for why something is happening isn't actually the reason. Now, I'm not saying that you are not right in addressing the issue, right? Because you walked it through a process of preparing and kind of like really thinking about what the issue is. So we know that you're right on addressing it, but maybe you don't necessarily know why it's happening. And so asking clarifying questions or being curious helps you to kind of just dig deeper and understand why this person might be acting the way they are, or why this person hasn't handed in things on time, right? It gives you a deeper understanding of why something is happening so that you can address it and make sure that the steps moving forward are keeping that in mind as well. Having difficult conversations with employees is never an easy thing. I mean, yes, it definitely does become easier the more you engage in tough conversations with people, but it's never easy, especially if you are the type of person that cares, which clearly you are the type of person that cares since you're watching this video today. So the one thing I want you to know is that even though this is tough, and it might be tough for you, that you are capable. You are capable of doing challenging things, and you're capable of having this challenging conversation, especially if you're doing it with the right intent, which is to help your team member do better, which is basically what a difficult conversation is about, right? It's helping you uncover obstacles so that you can get the person to the next level. It's so that they can turn around or do some course correction. All right, so that is pretty much it for this week's video. I hope you found it enjoyable. Please do remember to hit the like button and to subscribe if you don't want to miss out on any other content that I share here every single Tuesday. It was great to be with you today. I hope you have a fantastic rest of the week. Do not forget to keep smiling, and I'll see you in the next one.